Hello and welcome once again to Wandering Monster America's test table, where we don't just play test games, no, we stress test them. Tonight, we are engaging in some good old fashioned fun in the Mothership 1E system, which is out in PDF but not out in physical product yet. But we're not just playing Mothership, no, we are going to be playing a module. Um, and that's all, guys. That is all I prepared. I don't have anything to say. I'm freaking out, guys. I'm
Well, okay. Well, first of all, that's John Baltusberger. My name is Charles R. Bernard.
Ian Servas.
Mr. Paschke.
And I prepared something for this week, actually, John, if you'll recall. So tonight we are playing a delightful game called Constant Downpour. Constant Downpour. This is a revised edition that's being kickstarted right now from Spicy Tuna Role Playing Games. You can find the link to the Kickstarter for that and all of our socials and everything like that, or just search for Constant Downpour Spicy Tuna and you'll probably find a delicious sushi menu, but also this game, no doubt. This game is based on, or this module rather, is based on a short story by Ray Bradbury. Now, that short story is called The Long Rain, and it was first collected in one of Bradbury's short story collections called The Illustrated Man. Now, when I was a wee little youngster, my dad, who was like a big English lit nerd and an English major in high school, would like foist Ray Bradbury on me, and I'm so glad he did because he handed me this book of Ray Bradbury short stories, and like every writer gets asked at some point in their career, often more than once, like when did you want to become a writer? What made you want to become a writer, etc. It was Ray Bradbury for me. Like I fell in love with the written word in a way that I never had before. And his ideas were so simple and compelling and kind of magical that I was blown away. And The Long Rain is actually one of the very first Bradbury stories that I ever read. And I remember it having quite the effect on me. So when I heard that tonight this module was going to be based on that, I was extremely stoked. I continue to be extremely stoked, having read a bit about it. And now that I've been stoked, why don't we allow Ian to be our GM for the evening?
Absolutely. And this game is in its last couple of hours for kickstarting. So if you are in the chat, and we'll make sure that we post the link to the remastered version. The remastered version adds in more art, more content. I have the luxury of having the first edition and then this remastered work in progress. And it's wonderful seeing how much more content and depth is being added. And going back and reading the short story and then that just got me excited all over to run this. So this definitely runs into that category of boy, it'd be nice if we could, if you, dear viewer, would sit down and do a 12-hour live play with us and go through much more of the content. But we'll make sure that we highlight some of the really neat elements in this game that really capture the spirit of that story and all the new content that is in this module. So make sure that you have your umbrella, an extra towel handy, hoopy fruits, and you're in for a fun evening.
I was hoping, Charles, that you would ask me who had gotten me set on the writing path. Because I just want to give a shout out real quick. It was Graham McNeil. Because when I realized that you didn't actually need to have talent or skill or editing, I was like, well, I can get rich and famous too. And it's that easy. It's that easy, everyone.
It's the Michael Crichton effect, we call it. Yeah.
All right. So
I was dying to make that joke, so sorry for interrupting, Ian.
Oh, that is a-okay. So why don't we go through and do introductions of all of our characters, and then we'll set the scene and start to dial back the Wayback Engine to kind of go more towards that golden age of hard sci-fi and take it from there.
Well, you know what? I'm going to strike for my right to go first this evening. Tonight, I will be playing a gentleman named Levi. Oh, Simon. I love last name, first name. They're like reversible or whatever. Yeah, I'm a Teamster, and that means that I am kind of a dock working kind of guy. I am a modest, hardworking fella, salt of the earth, and wearing a delightful jumpsuit. And what else do I have going on? Do. Ooh, I got tough gloves. That's good.
Sometimes, baby, just
you
got to
know
give him
what?
some tough gloves.
Just call call me tough glove Levi Simon. Levi
And
tough glove Simon.
something too fun for people who are new to the Mothership system, when you make your character, two just purely flavor elements that are given to your character is a patch, which is either going to be in your jumpsuit, your armor, whatever it is, and a
Mine's
trinket.
okay. So I got one that I believe is a patch, like a pinup patch for my suit, and I think for that, what I have on there is like the trucker lady. It's like that, except it's a trucker. Like he's got the big gut and the hat and like the legs stretched out with boots
Oh
on them
no.
in silhouette. Yeah, it's great.
I love it.
Um, my name is Eugene Estrada. I'm a scientist. I've been studying exoplanet um, uh, weather systems, and basically trying to find places where we can make where humanity can press forward and find new homes. However, the reason I've done this is I've been in love with Levi ever since he was working at he was delivering supplies to the lab I was working on, and when he got reassigned, I took it on myself to follow. I haven't worked out how to tell him, but that's why I'm here.
And a fun thing on
And by
on
the
your
way, that was what I had written in my head before you said the thing about the trucker. Like, oh no.
and then you have a fun inventory item. Is that public knowledge?
Yes. I have a former lab rat. She was a breeder, breeding other lab rats without having to be experimented on herself. Her name is Gertrude, and she is past the age of safe motherhood, so I adopted her, and she is very well behaved and very sweet.
What a compassionate way to treat lab rats. That's great.
Eugene is like an extreme bleeding heart. Very gentle man.
I love this departure from your normal characters.
I do want people to know that like part of the fun of role playing games is exploring the full breadth of like what humanity has to offer, and it can be really fun and really beautiful.
And more than humanity in a lot of cases.
More human than a human.
More human than the shit. Now I'm in Rob Zombie mode. Eugene kills everyone.
White zombie back then, I think.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Paskey.
All right. So you guys obviously we're in space, right? So you've been crammed in here with me, smelling my cigarette smoke because my character, their trinket is a pack of cigarettes.
On a fucking spaceship?
Yeah, Grinning Skull brand cigarettes, which, next to Lucky Strikes.
We're having to rebreathe the fucking filtered air and shit.
You're welcome.
Away.
Eugene hates you.
Oh yeah, I don't care. You can hate me.
He'll
all
never
you want.
tell you that.
I love me. I'm the best.
That's a real take your shoes off on an airplane move,
Oh yeah. I love explosives. It's my first love.
Another great hobby for a spaceship.
Yeah. Pretty much, I am the safest thing about this ship.
We've got a
Um,
chain smoking explosives expert.
Yep.
I
With a
can't see
Black
that going
Widow
wrong.
patch on his uniform. So, yeah. Oh, I have a name. It's Olin Frost, which uh I feel is a little ironic because it's not frosty. Everything's got to be hot.
So I have a question. Do you in fact smoke within 10 feet of your own explosive?
I know what I'm doing. I'm safe to smoke around my explosives. You, on the other hand, I'll
Damn
give
it.
you a cigarette, but you need to step back.
This is gonna be awesome.
So we have on our for our crew, so we have a teamster, a scientist, and a marine. Each of you bring a little bit of different talent to your outfit. And to set the scene, Patamo Major is a intergalactic corporation that specializes in outsourcing of resources. And one of their major operations has been on Venus 3 with the export and overseeing the mining operations of iridium. And so during times of relative galactic peace, when different mercantile and military units are laying fallow, they utilize that human power and contract them out to do different types of operations, security details, escort missions, sometimes just extra physical labor. So the terraforming and reclamation of Venus 3 has been a major ongoing operation. Many of your other type of Merc units that you've worked inside and in tandem with on some other types of covert operations have already been deployed to this region, and you haven't heard back from them. There's been a lot of emphasis to drain much more system resources in building out the infrastructure, as this mineral is critical to lots of different critical infrastructures, from military to tech to even home use. So securing this mineral is a very high priority. Your unit has been taken in. So not only is it just the three of you, but other mercs that you have worked in close quarters with, and you are being wholesale rented out for the glory of Otama Major's operation. You get run down, you kind of get the rundown by Colonel Alekis, who tells you more about the operation. Venus 3, there is a large mining operation. It is this giant mountain that is almost has high concentrations of this mineral that sits just on the edge of the 1C, the major body of water that encapsulates this entire planet. It's a very wet planet, and the locals are not, they're resistant to the opportunities that Patamo Major brings to the planet. So your mission basically is very simple. You're going to be deployed to a sundome, which are these areas of respite, as the climate on Venus 3 tends to be on the wet side. So it's an area where you can stay dry, warm up, have some hot chocolate, and then go back out and oversee a large shipment of the mineral, um, and load it back up on a rocket and head off. All in all, it should be one solar Terran week worth of effort, and you're going to be getting 2.5 times your normal pay. Should be a pretty sweet gig.
Can I
Time
do
and a half.
can I do a bit real quick for anyone out there
Absolutely.
who's
On
watched
this show?
Beyond the Black Rainbow? At Arboreous Hundo, our award-winning gardens. Yeah, that's all.
You need to do that bit next time we run the finalized Sundry Sundries module.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. So as you are we're in this kind of pre-planning phase before we do our montage and skip to the heart of the action, as you're getting basically assigned to this expedition, any major questions or resources that you need?
I actually have a question for Levi.
Yeah,
Does Levi know how Eugene feels?
I think Levi has a sense of Eugene sniffing around, but Eugene's regrettably not his type.
That is,
So
yeah,
it's going to be a
okay.
tragic dynamic.
It'll be
Um,
perfect.
I think I have everything. Water filter, flare gun. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
like a flare gun.
You don't. You back the fuck off.
I
You
would
don't
like
need a
more
flare.
explosives.
Don't you make your own flare gun?
I mean, anything's a flare gun if you try hard enough.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I think I'm ready. Actually, you know what? I'd like to buy some rope. Good old rope. Can I do that before we head off to Venus 3?
Absolutely. So that would be something that you would have in your Merc outfitter. So you're going to be strapped into this rocket that is specially designed to penetrate through the very thick atmosphere. It looks very much like the classic sci-fi, large fins in the rear, on the side, cherry red
Hell
nose
yeah.
cone and tail with that torpedo body. So the extra flare gun that you need will be stored in the cargo, along with a couple sets of 20 feet of rope, and with extra provisions. So you will be crammed in this sardine can with a couple of other people that you've served along your unit. People you know, like Graham, Abbott, and that other guy who's just kind of weird, like this explosive heavy Marine. He just goes by Shark. You're pretty sure his real name is like Jim, but he insists on being called Shark. Um, so, without further ado, all of you are unceremoniously jammed into this rocket, and from a low orbital platform, you are hurled down into the bowels of Venus 3. You should be, after about a half an hour's worth of bone jarring flight, you should be touching down on a landing pad outside the region of the Sun Dome 21. There's over 100 of these domes scattered around the planetoid, but this is the one that's going to be closest to the mining operation that you're going to be escorting.
And I hear their hot chocolate is fantastic.
That's legendary. Everyone comes to Venus 3 for the hot chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So when you descend into the atmosphere, immediately it almost feels like every rivet in your rocket is just rattling in place. I've heard that there's a little bit of a rainy season, but basically you're just almost diving into the edge of like a monsoon or a hurricane, something with just violent winds and tons of rain. And you are just feeling your stomach just falling out of you and then back up and then out of you again. Um, you have a hard time even seeing the ground because there's this perpetual monochrome gray to everything, from the thick layer of fog and rain that is just completely washing everything out. It's almost like the world itself has just been bleached. You see Abbott is doing his normal routine where he's going through his rosaries with the very worn beads. Graham is, uncharacteristically, you can see he's swallowing his own vomit, but trying to maintain his composure. It could be just his proximity to Olin's smell, but it's also a pretty violent descent. Any actions that you are doing, so you can see that from here you get a little bit of layout. It looks like in between the patches of rolling fog that there is thick jungle underneath you, and then meandering wide patches of water.
So, like, none of us is piloting this thing, right?
These are set to be automated, just because a normal pilot would have a hard time with navigating
Right.
and seeing, so it's on an automated course.
So I'm not sure what we can do until it touches down, really.
Yeah,
Other
stay
than,
strapped
like-
in.
I'm just giving you opportunities just here at the beginning, just because I'm hearing this developing love sequence, and so I just wanted to make sure that.
Oh, there will be plenty of time for that
Oh,
when shit hits the fan.
I offer whoever's sitting next to me a cigarette.
Graham looks at you, and you just see this swallow just like go down. He blanches even more white than he already is. Shark, to look tough, snatches that cigarette and just starts to just chew it and like pack it into his jaw like a quid. You can see
You
also like
dumb
he's
dumb.
also starting to swallow his own bile, but he's trying to look as tough as he can.
So true story. Like I used to be quite the cigarette smoker. Like I smoked a hell of a lot for a long time. And so like extremely long plane trips were difficult. Especially since, it was like pre and post plane. And so they used to make Camel made this product. It was, I forget, it was called like snooze or something.
Snooze.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was basically like snuff in a pouch that you put like under your gum,
Mhm.
or and like
Like that, yeah.
that's how I would get through plane rides. Is like I'd just tuck a couple of those down there and like be good to go. Yeah. So
Yeah. You
chewing
ever
on a
fall asleep with
cigarette?
one of those in your mouth?
God, no.
Yeah.
No. Do you wake up with like cancer, just like already there?
I didn't.
This is teratoma, just like
Yeah, it's just
throbbing.
like
You wake up, it's on
whole
your
side of the
pillow,
cheek
stuck to your
rotted away.
face,
Yeah. Your
or it's
teeth are
just
showing
gone.
through. Yeah.
And then you have to wonder, did you swallow it?
Oh, nah. Ugh.
Then, as you are getting closer and closer to your descent, that rattling feeling, that's especially coming from the tail, is getting more loud and worrisome.
I
In
fucking
fact,
knew it.
as you're looking out your port window, that of course it is the bubble window with big rivets in it, your fins on the side of your rocket are violently juddering as well. In fact, one of them rips free and your ship begins to corkscrew a bit.
All right,
Um,
I leap into action. As best I can. I'm more like I crawl and clamber my way into action,
all
holding
right.
on to the rigging because I do have a talent for mechanical repair, and as a teamster, I also have a talent for it. I don't like the term here, so I'll call it improvisational engineering.
Oh, I like
And
that.
yeah, I'd like to see if I can't at least nurse this thing down to the ground by keeping like all the fins and stuff on it. So what do I need to check against?
All right. So this thing has an autopilot, but you could try to hack into it to override it if you want to make a manual landing yourself. As you
Yeah.
are the teamster and you know the innards of the ship better than everyone, you know that there are also a series of parachutes that are tucked into the rear tail as well.
Okay. Do you
If that changes your
guys?
decision.
Yes, it might. Let's see. That's not gonna help. That's not gonna help. That will. Hey, you
Well,
guys. I say to my party mates. We got to get the fuck out of here. Hey, this feels like last week.
Yeah.
Um,
I was about to say,
Yeah.
are you gonna grab them and just like leap without us?
yeah.
I-
No. I'm
as
gonna
as
grab.
you're beginning to talk and let people know this is happening, the other wing shears off. You hear the
Yeah.
sound of like plinks of bolts. That means that to start off with, all of you need to make a panic check because the vessel
Okay.
that you're in is actively falling apart.
I'm
So
sorry. Do
this
we
is the
need dice
time.
this week?
That is correct. The 2d10 and a d20. So you're going to roll a d20 and you're going to roll above your current stress. You start off with 2 stress. So if you happen to get less than 2, things are going to get even more
Let me
interesting.
see. So this is like a stress check is against sanity,
Your
right?
current stress, which is 2, so you need to roll above 2 on the d20.
Okay.
Oh, above
Good
2
here.
on the D20? Yeah, that shouldn't be
Yes.
a problem. Yeah, not a problem. 14.
All right. So you keep your cool. Go on with your plan. Now you're starting to plummet at a faster rate.
Okay.
Eugene
Yeah.
Eugene gets out of his seat and kind of like hobble walks as you do on a turbulent fall over to Levi. What's happening?
Yeah, I grab Eugene and what's the name of our pyro friend?
Olin?
Olin. Yeah, I grab Eugene and Olin and basically I'm like, this fucking thing's going down. get your parachute on, boys. We're going up. And at
Oh
that point,
God.
yeah, exactly. At that point, I actually have an advantage that I think I can pass on to my teammates on this one because I do have an expertise in industrial equipment. And I does a parachute qualify as industrial equipment?
I will say for expediency, since this is something you're going to be familiar. Yeah, actually, you know what? Since it's a stressful situation, yeah. If you want to make a check to make sure everyone's strapped in, go ahead and make that. It would be the first rule of the evening.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a plus 10% advantage on. I haven't even looked at the stat yet, and that's 2D.
So in this case, you're going to be using your speed because that's going to be the most important thing. So you need to roll that on a 54.
Okay. And it's a 63.
All
So
right. So
I think
you're
that's a
strapping
fail,
in
right?
your crew. And so first off, you take 1 point of stress because you're not sure if you've buckled everything right. You're frantically trying to help everyone. Um, like Shark is now beginning to vomit because Graham is just like holding back this goblet. Like it's horrible up front.
Hey,
You're
man, no
pretty
shame
sure
on
that
that.
your shoots are pretty okay.
Hmm.
Um, and so as you start to see like the ground get too uncomfortably close, you hit that ejection where you just basically blow off the back section of the ship and just spoof your way out and hope for the best.
I think
So
"shoof" should be a
you
verb.
are
Much
immediately.
to
Hmm?
much to Eugene's chagrin, he does scream.
It's hard to maintain your reserve.
Yeah. No.
Gertrude also screams, and from like her like rat bubble helmet, like you hear this high pitch as well.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
have her like tucked in. She is safe and secure. She is not going anywhere.
so you have gone from the very hot, sweaty confines of your ship to now just like shockingly cold rain. You are tumbling head over heels, and you're seeing your parachute unfurl. And at first, it's just not inflating. There's so much rain, and then there's this automatic, like actinic humph that just like makes
I
all
love
of
these
your
sounds.
hair on your arms go up, and your parachute has this propellant that makes the rain go off as some type of energy field. So you see your parachutes deploy, the ship go down in a ball of fire. You see some tufts of parachute. You're not sure if it got caught in the wreckage or not, but you see that you are almost ironically at this point drifting down relatively intact to where the landing pad is, where you should have made a intact landing. You're
Perfect
in.
landing.
So you see that you were in a clearing that around the edges of this, there is moss and grasses that are already consuming the edge of the tarmac. Beyond it, there is the extremely dense jungle. You think you hear the sound of the ship dying, even like maybe concussive blasts, but rolling thunder also cracks overhead, and you can't tell exactly what you're hearing. Um,
Are
but
there any
the three.
structures in the clearing or nearby, or?
So when you're looking at the kind of immediate surrounding, you can see to a little bit to the west and kind of looping around you in between thick layers of jungle. It looks to be a river or some type of moving water. You see plumes of smoke that are getting beaten down by rain to your southeast, which is where the ship is, of yours has crashed. You can see to the west northwest there is some type of metal tower that when you look at the map that you've been given doesn't show up on the map. It's something recent or unsanctioned, but looking at your locator you know that the sun dome that you're supposed to have been transported to is to the northeast of here.
Okay.
But you with using your map, you're able to navigate towards some of the different other major elements that are nearby. But as far as a visual inspection, that's the most of what you currently see. To the
Does
north of you is just
everyone
more jungle.
does everyone else have a personal locator, or am I the only one who's got that in their inventory?
So your personal locator is going to be effective for locating other members of your team and tracking them. It'll also help to keep you directly connected to your map. Everyone else has a general map of Venus 3, but yours is going to be the most meaningful in keeping track and not getting lost.
Okay. I'm gonna inform my teammates of that if they weren't aware that I've got this personal locator and that thus I can kind of point us in the right direction. I would like to ask Eugene for an appraisal of the situation from like a scientific point of view.
Yeah.
I'm more of a practical guy.
I'm going to first and foremost, I'm going to kind of check over the rest of the crew to make sure no one's in too bad of shape. That everyone kind of got through that unharmed somehow. And as soon as I kind of deduce that, like, okay, no one is in medical emergency. I
Those of us
have
who survived.
There's only
well.
3 of you.
Oh,
So
I
the
thought I
status,
thought Shark was with us for some reason.
No,
um,
I
you
think
thought
I
you,
think they're all dead.
Well,
the locator that
um,
you have has them all at what you presume is the crash site.
Yeah.
that's no,
I feel like
that's
I
not.
should know if it blew up.
Eugene is morally opposed to cannibalism, just so I can further distance himself from me. Okay. Once I make sure my compatriots are unharmed, I have a sample collection kit. I'm going to use my chemistry skill here, I
Okay.
think, to try to kind of, and I assume I would have gotten at least a little bit of a science brief, like environmental science briefing on what Venus 3 was like. Is it safe to be in the rain? Will it melt us?
So if you want to take the time to take that sample, by all means, go ahead and make me a science. Excuse me, not a science. Go ahead and make me your intellect check.
Okay. I'm going
And while
to
you're doing that, fun fact, Bradbury, like people of the time, thought that Venus might be a rainy jungle kind of world, like our Venus. And it does in fact rain all the time on Venus. It just happens to rain hydrochloric acid.
yeah.
So,
So you can make
Ian.
that check at advantage since you have the kit and
Okay,
you're
cool. That's what
trained
I
in
was going to
chemistry.
ask.
the hydrochloric acid test is just like sticking a
Okay.
hand out, you know.
But you
Yeah.
still have the hand.
So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
I rolled under.
Okay. And don't forget, if you get doubles either for success or failure, then that is crit success or crit fail.
I am good.
All right.
Dubbies.
So taking a quick sample of the rain and running it through your kit, at first it's hard to keep your sample isolated because it's just a sheer downfall, a constant downpour here.
Yeah.
And the sample comes back that it's very similar to water on Earth. How
Now,
you're
how
able
similar? Because one or two molecules off, and suddenly you're dying.
He was
It's a
about to
good
tell
point.
us.
It's a good point. So it's chemically similar enough that it doesn't kill you immediately. You can tell by how the electrolyte balance in it that over time that it kind of breaks things down. It like leaches almost like vital essence from
Oh,
people.
we're gonna get all
And
pruny.
exactly. So you know that constant exposure to this is going to be detrimental to yourself beyond just the hypothermia potential. But
Gotcha.
but as immediate, could you drink it? Could you be exposed? Yeah, you'd be fine. But long term, it's
Right.
definitely something that you'll be worrisome.
Okay. The rain is. Uh, we should be okay, but we need to get to the sun dome as quickly as possible.
All right. I'd like to check with Ovum, Ivar, Snowball. What's your name, Pashki?
Olin
Snowball. It's
Frost.
Snowball. You got it in one, bud.
Okay. I'm gonna add an S to the end. Snowballs. No, it's
That is too far. Snowball was fine. Snowballs. Ah!
Olin has his explosives still, right? Like with him.
Correct.
Okay. I'm just doing an inventory check with everybody. Like, all right, I've got the locator, and I think that oh my god, I've already forgotten the name again. Because I could just keep the good snowballs, so now it's gonna be snowballs.
It's gonna be snowballs. I accept.
Yeah,
this.
so I hand snowballs the personal locator, since he's kind of the action hero of the crew, so that he might lead the way, and I will follow bravely and whack anything what needs whacking should it pop up alongside him.
So, taking another look at your locator, you see that one of the vital signs for your one of your other crewmates is winking. Two of them are
God
out.
damn it!
But you're not sure that if that's a faulty response due to the interference of the rain. Also, just kind of getting a bearing at this place, using with your personal locator, you can also get a sense of that to the north from here, through this very dense section of jungle, looks like there is a bunker as well for maybe some type of basic shelter. So the major features that you can orient yourself to the immediacy would be navigating through a dense jungle area towards a bunker, towards this mysterious tower of metal to the northeast from here, or like the kind of west north, to the east northeast of here, and then the crash site for where your ship was, and then also you could head in the direction of that sun dome you were initially supposed to have gone to. So make your plans and then head out from here. The more that you're out here in the rain, out in the open, the more exposed you feel, and you're having a hard time judging if other things might be aware of you out here.
I think we should make our way to the bunker. The possibility that there's some kind of conveyance that can get us to the sun dome seems likely.
We
I
know
like
which
that.
vital sign is blinking.
Like whether it's shark.
It looks
that's Kelly. She is dreadful.
it looks like it's shark.
I mean, do you guys want to cut weight, move on to the bunker? I mean, if we get the vehicle, we
Eugene
can, in
would
theory,
not.
get to the crash site faster. Also, does anyone have an umbrella? I really need one right now. It's hard to smoke while it's raining.
As soon as Eugene is made aware that
reason
there's a lifeline going, he's like, okay, well, we need to go. We need to go take care of that. We need to go help whoever's hurt.
You need to go take care of that shink. No.
No survivors.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Mercy kill any of the.
But no, like a legitimate. If the bunker has a vehicle and we can get to the crash site faster by way of going to the
Yeah.
bunker first, that makes sense.
Plus, Shark's so tough. I saw him eat a cigarette, and like, I think he'll be fine.
Oh, ew.
I mean, not this. That's not how you cigarette. So sharks, like the Venus might be better not having shark on it anymore because the guy doesn't know how to smoke.
We can't make that call though.
Yeah, we can.
That's not our decision to make.
Doesn't know how to smoke. He's off the fucking list. Like no salvation. I love that. Doesn't know how to smoke.
I'm currently taking my parachute and trying to fold it and hold it over my head so that I can start a cigarette.
That's actually a pretty good idea. Yeah, in terms of getting the rain off you.
All right.
Yeah.
I think Eugene is going to like start sloshing his way towards the crash site. Because while it is true that if the bunker has a conveyance, that'd be faster. If it doesn't, it's twice as long, and Shark could be dying like right now. So he feels he needs to get there ASAP.
But then we
Well,
got to
fuck
drag
it.
Shark to the Sundome or the bunker, whichever. Well, I've got no, I've just got battle dress, standard battle dress. So that's my armor. No, I
My
don't have a
daughter,
med kit.
my daughter
Never mind.
Yeah,
is currently getting sick, and I
I
can
mean,
hear her
it's
blowing
less.
her nose and coughing.
Oof.
Oh, it's less about what's rational and more about like Eugene just took off. So as much as I'm not like the world's like romantically interested in Eugene, I do value his friendship, and so I'm gonna
Yes.
stick with him just so he doesn't get.
Are you saying that you're gonna friend zone Eugene?
I might be friend zoning him. It depends. Well,
Do you just
If
need a
he feels that
shoulder
the
rub?
word friend zone is toxic.
if he tilts his fedora rakishly enough, there's always a little room for movement in that zone. Is all I'm saying. Like you could be in the friends with benefits zone. You wear that fedora, right? That's what I read in the books anyway.
Eugene does not have a fedora, but Gertrude does.
Oh, excellent! I
Well,
can see a little
guys,
rat
I
in a
need
fedora.
everyone to close their eyes and picture a pudgy, slightly elderly lab rat wearing a little fedora, and tell me it's not the cutest goddamn thing.
I don't have to close my eyes. It's like dancing in my vision with my eyes open. That's
It's
wonderful.
wonderful.
I already
Makes me
drew
so
the
happy.
rat. I'm just putting a hat on it now.
So, Snowballs, as you are trying to light up your cigarette, you hear the hum begin to wind down in the parachute, and water just immediately starts to trickle through, and it puts out this one like faint ember of hope, just out completely. You can see that water is beginning to pool up and rise up pretty quickly around the edges of the tarmac. The edges of this clearing are ringed with knots of very thick reeds, and then these ferns that seem to be swaying beyond just the normal uncomfortably howling gusting wind. The direction that you're going to be heading in, you can see the ferns give way to large clumps of moss that seem to be just kind of puffing just a bit, like soaking up the water of it and expelling it out of its masses. And then very thick patches of greenery. That greenery is a misnomer. It should be grayery. A lot of the plant life here is different shades of gray. 49 shades of gray, perhaps, although some are tinged with colors, although muted. Going to the south from here, or to the southeast from here on the direction towards the ship, Eugene, you are... all right, so to start with, as you kind of trudging forward and you're cooing to Gertrude, making sure she's okay, you feel something beginning to twitch in the waters below your feet. The water that you're marching through is up halfway through your shins, but each footfall you get sucked down in the mud just a bit, and there's something that's moving. Make me a speed check.
Okay. Speed. Oh boy. Oh shit. Nice. I am just under.
So you
Did
are
not think I
able
was gonna make
to...
that.
Gertrude kind of gives this warning chirp that you could just barely hear over the sound of the rain, but it's just enough to make you pull back. A barbed vine of some kind lashes out where your foot was just for a second, and then pulling up out of the mud, you see this giant fanged maw. If you knew any better,
Levi Snowball.
this would almost look like a Venus flytrap, but grotesque. Its thorny appendages lash out.
Venus 3 flytrap.
Goku
Flora.
Flora. fuck?
Yeah, guy with the bombs. Like, I think that thing's hungry.
Yeah. I pull up my submachine gun.
Oh shit!
Aren't you glad I'm
Nice.
here?
It's
Dude,
like,
I have a flare gun with 2 shots, and I thought I was the most heavily armed guy.
I have a chemistry set, y'all.
That could be the most heavily armed right there. Got the right
All right.
chemicals.
Wow. Yeah, well, I'm very glad we brought you along.
All right.
All right.
I
So
want to
then
mow
we
down
can-
a.
we'll go ahead and we'll treat this as a round of combat. So
Yep.
Mothership encourages you to have all players go discuss what their actions are and then conduct that action. So we'll do that, and then it'll be rotated between the creature's response and its action will also all
There's a
happen at the
few
same time.
games that do this kind of open initiative style, and sometimes it's really beneficial. Like you can kind of make a plan and then it happens, as opposed to like, oh no, I'm going to hold my turn and hope the thing I want to happen happens. So
It's kind of like back in old school D&D, how there was the caller who would say what the party's actions were to the GM, and then they would
Yeah, yeah.
resolve. Yeah. All right, so go ahead and make
So-
your action. So, Eugene, you are about 10 feet away from this Venus flytrap thing. It rears its mouth open, and if it had some type of lungs, it would probably be screaming at you, but it just gnashes this maw.
have that effect on plants. I'm just scrambling back, but I want to point out that as I scramble back, I'm also now paying attention to like the water around us, looking for. I mean, you can't see ripples because it's raining, but I'm trying
I'm way
to.
ahead of you. I have in my inventory here a subsurface scanner, and I would like
Nice.
to use my action during the turn to fire that bad boy up, or excuse me, that bad girl. Let's call her Deep Debbie, and I'm going to
Debbie's
use
pretty
Deep
good.
Debbie to try and scan the subsurface and see what else is fucking around down there.
Okay. And what about you, Snowballs?
Snowballs is just locked and loaded, ready to he's going to cut down the Venus flytrap with as many bullets as it takes to just.
Is that like? Did we have a Tommy gun in the game last week too?
No, because we were on an airplane.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that would have been hard with. Yeah.
All right. So as you are using your subsurface scanner, you're able to identify where more of these thorny tendrils are snaking through the mud, and you are able to give Snowballs a little bit more of an area of where to fire at this creature. You can see that some of its body is located underneath the water, and there's a large center of mass in the mud. So your major targets are either the giant maw itself that's gnashing, or the toothed tentacles, or its kind of center of mass. Where are you choosing to fire?
I'm going for the center of mass. I mean, just double tap it first, see if that drops it, and then if that didn't, just.
All right. So go ahead, and so you're going to be making your combat check. So you're going to be getting an advantage to that since you've been able to kind of get this more information from the system. So for you, your current combat is going to be for the purposes of this check, it's going to be at 62.
Okay,
So-
and with advantage, am I rolling 4d10?
You're not going to be getting advantage. I'm adding in a
Oh,
threshold
okay.
bonus to it. So
All right.
So yeah, you're gonna roll 2d10, and you're trying to get 62 or less.
Well, that's stupid. 'Cause I got 66.
Oh no!
Oh, great! So that's fantastic because that is a failure. It's a panic check, and when Marines panic, it makes everyone else panic. So this is going to be fantastic. So the first thing is you gain a point of stress. So your stress is now 3. Now you're going to make a panic check. So roll d20 and get over 3.
13.
Okay, so you keep your cool, but you fire wildly. Just your all of your shots go completely wide. When you do that,
Gravity's different on Venus. This isn't my fault.
in your peripheral vision, you can see movement in the tall reeds that you pass through behind you, like on the other side of the landing pad. You see patterns of the reeds begin to move.
Okay. Who's? I think it's Eugene now.
Are we at the?
I'm-
Does the thing move and then we make a new plan?
So it is going to do its action. It's going to lash out at the most visible target, and it's going to be you, Snowballs. So go ahead and make me a body save.
Doubles again. So body save. I rolled a 55. Body 30. So I went way over that.
So you want to do under?
Yeah, I went way over that. I rolled 55.
And you roll
Oh,
doubles,
55.
which is another. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. So this is not your day,
Another-
Snowball. Your
Another
cigarettes for
panic
wet.
check.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you gain another point of stress, and make another panic check.
13.
All right, so 13's it's a lucky number for you. So the creature lashes out at you with this mud-soaked, thorn-studded tendril. It rakes across you, but you can feel your suit seals hold against it, but it feels like it's questing across your body, trying to find some type
Ugh.
of entrance to like lash onto you. Um,
Aren't we
I
all?
mean, I feel that way about Eugene a little bit.
So
That's-
so
Ouch.
Snowball, this is definitely
Just
not your
kidding.
day. One more horrible thing to you. Make me a fear save. You are coming into close quarter combat with this thing that is trying to get inside your suit. It is not you have not taken any damage because it was below your AP, but it is still a harrowing experience.
Fear save against a vegetable, and you call yourself a Marine.
I rolled a 00 and a 4. I never know whether
No,
that's
that's a 4. Then you rolled a 4.
okay.
Which is good
Okay,
on a fear
that's
save,
good.
I think.
That's good.
00
So
always
you
throws me.
are able to hold your own. You have enough nicotine left in your system that you are able to stay calm. Eugene, what was it that you said that you were doing earlier?
Earlier, I was just trying to get away from it.
Okay, you do retreat, and that's why Snowballs took all of the attacks. When you turn around and look, the reeds behind you are perfectly still.
I don't trust it. I don't trust anything. I don't know if you know from this song I just sang, but I don't trust that.
Okay. I thought you were saying that that's based on a popular song. I don't trust anything, and I was like, I gotta go hear that song. That sounds great.
Good theme song, right?
Yeah.
But I think Eugene does not trust the still reads, and really, like, I don't have a weapon. I do have a weapon, but I don't have a weapon that'd be good in this situation. So I am continuing to backpedal and like whip my head around looking for more danger. It's kind of all I got at the moment.
All right. Go. All right. So you are outside of the range of danger. You're keeping Gertrude safe. As you are scrabbling backwards, make me a speed check.
Stop it. Okay, that's a failure. It's
Okay.
a bad failure, but it's not
Huh.
doubles. So I think
All right.
yeah.
So this is a So when you so you take your point of stress, and the reason why it's stressful is that as you are walking backwards, you trip over something in the mud. You're trying to pay more attention to things, but you've missed something. And at first it feels like it's pulling you down, but you realize you just got your foot snapped or you caught, and so you fall forward, and you see that there is a body just below the surface of the water, sinking into the mud, and you become like face first with it. Uh,
But does not scream. It's getting manlier.
you see that this is a person wearing an infantry outfit for Patamo Major. So a full-blooded corp merc of some kind.
That ain't good.
All right. So next round, you've got this creature. It keeps gnashing its toothy maw, and as you start to make your plans, you hear this high-pitched, deafening whistle coming from the other side of the clearing, just right, and perhaps maybe where the edge of that jungle is. The Venus flytrap thing shudders, mashes its maw just one more time, and it starts to slink away. You hear a slurping sound as it uses its tentacles to pull itself up a little bit off the mud, and it starts to very slowly kind of amble its way through the mud,
Cool.
constantly keeping its teeth bared at you as it slinks. It slips
Huh.
into a pool of water and vanishes out of sight.
That was fortunate. Well, I was fortunate for it because I was about to put on my tough gloves. Go wrangle some tentacles with those tough ass gloves.
There's a man here.
That's so mild mannered.
Is he dead?
I mean, yes.
Does he have anything we can use on him?
Yeah, let's dig him out of there.
Snowball.
Dig them out of there and see
Look,
see what's up.
All right. Are you doing that action then?
Yeah, I'll just grab them by their dead ass arms and haul them out of the mud that way.
All right. So when you do that, part of their skin just sloughs off. Like they look
Not
very
my first
pruny from
corpse.
this
I'm
water,
not-
and you
yeah.
just kind of. It's like when you're pulling like a chicken wing, and like the bones come out, and like the flesh is left
Yeah.
behind, and
Oh,
it's
God.
horribly grisly. You can even hear that squelching sound above the rain. So make me a sanity check.
Okay.
Oh no.
Let's see. Sanity is.
haven't seen that in a couple of years.
Okay.
Oh. Really?
That's probably a fail, considering that I rolled an 89.
Oh yeah. Oopsies.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just this unreal thing is like you just see this person's body separate, and you just like even part of her face just sloughs off. So you're looking at this leering skull. Even their
My-
eyes have turned to some type of jelly being soaked in this strange rain. You get this preternatural feeling of dread and absolute horror. And make me so gain a point of stress from that.
You got it.
And you start to your mind just reels a bit, and you're starting to feel a little bit unmoored. That constant rain upon you is already starting to unsettle you more than you thought. When you take a second and you clear your thoughts and you look at the body, you see that not only do they have the identification of being part of the Patamo Major infantry, but there's a patch that says "cut to the core" on it, and it has a jagged knife. And that's below it.
take
You
the
can see,
patch.
just rip it right off. It identifies them as a member of Crew 612.
I'm gonna
One of
take that
the
too.
All right.
Not this isn't for like trophy taking. This is like to identify them to their if we can
Okay.
find other survivors of the unit or whatever.
Um, the contents of their pockets are otherwise kind of dissolved just a bit. Like there's some lumpy bits of things. But in this hand, as you kind of debride the flesh bits off of it, they hold some type of weird ray gun. It
Oh
looks
hell
very
yes.
much like something you would see out of a old comic book. It has a pistol grip and then like little flanges, like concentric circle flanges with almost like a proboscis, some type
I
of maybe laser pistol.
I give it to Eugene.
Oh, uh, oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome. Point.
Eugene stares at it, torn between he gave me a gift and this is a gun actually. Which Eugene is not like morally opposed to guns. Eugene is emotionally opposed to him holding a gun, but he is
Yeah.
not rejecting it.
Do I
Okay, good.
see you not understanding it and kind of like just step over? That's the end. You point at the thing you want to die.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
That's
I
the
was
thing
even
that makes it
gonna
only
add.
fire one. That's the thing that makes it fire a
Snowball,
lot.
Snowball.
Little instruction. Slow down.
I had to take the training alongside you. I do. He's kind of holding it gingerly, like I do understand. I do. I do understand.
Finger needs to be like
He kind of
that
trails off
until
and
you're
looks at
ready
it
to
like
kill something. Just remember
he's
that.
he points it directly at Snowball as he's looking at the side of it, trying to figure out how much ammo it has.
Snowball's just like, nope. And just kind of lifts it up and away.
Speaking of ray guns, like I forget what I was watching the other day, but it had like laser fire that actually caused blood to spill. And at first I was like, it would cauterize the wound. But thinking about it, I was like, probably not. Like it probably would, I mean, the lasers that they use when they do like eye cauterization surgery like mine are like very sharp and precise and like they cauterize but like they can cut just as easily. So anyway, yeah, fuck something up with that laser gun, Eugene.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will do my best.
So, for the sake of being able to move this narrative along,
We're headed
yeah.
for the
have
sundown.
Oh no! I'm saying
Okay.
you have a montage of just various unpleasantries as you trudge towards the crash site. The rain goes from torrential to the very unsettling light sprinkle for about 3 seconds before it becomes torrential again. You start to get a slight bit of almost like tinnitus from the sheer amount of noise that it makes as it crescendos off of your shoulders. And you feel everything about you just get progressively and progressively wetter. On the outskirts of the crash site, you see that it looks like it plowed through a swath of jungle and it is just tore a hole. But even being on the slight outskirts of this kind of furrow leading into it, you see that the jungle itself is already beginning to fill in the furrow. Little bits of moss are creeping in, filling out, replacing the earth as if it doesn't even want the earth exposed to the sky for that long. And
Now, Ian,
Hmm?
as a GM, details are important. Is it the shitty gray moss or the shitty like gray green moss that's growing back?
Well, do you want to get up closer and take a look at it?
Eat it. Eat it. Eat it.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a
That. By
closer
the way, that is John chanting that, not Eugene.
No, I'm gonna. I'll take. Actually, I'm not a scientist. I don't know what the fuck I'd be looking at. So never mind. I do that. Yeah.
You could ask the scientist if
Hey,
you were curious.
Eugene, would you like to have a look at this interesting moss and tell me if it has any medicinal or please sweet Lucifer psychoactive properties?
Eugene looks at Levi as if to say, like, hey, we've known each other for a number of years now. You know I don't study fungi and moss or mold, and you've never professed interest in mold before. What the fuck, bro? But what he says is, oh, yeah, absolutely, sure. And
So
yeah, he'll take out his sample collection kit and so I don't have any skills in botany, but can I chemistry this?
you
Yeah,
can definitely still make a check. You're just not going to get that +10 bonus.
Me.
I just
How I feel about that.
I just
That's
need you
okay.
to check for anything in the DMT, LSD, or psilocybin families or
Is it
related
flammable?
molecules. Yeah.
Oh, you ah well, I did very well
Okay.
on my roll.
Hell yeah.
So when you start to look at this moss, the moss itself seems pretty innocuous. It's some type of very rapidly growing that looking at it through your sample collection kit, that whenever exposed to oxygen, it rapidly sporulates and proliferates. So
Mm,
cutting the ground open just is part of its life cycle. But what's
right.
stranger is that when you're looking at this in the sample collection kit, that not only moss is growing, but there's also fungus. And in real
Oh.
time, you see little bits of fruiting bodies start to stick out, and little shoot as like a little parasol of a mushroom opens up. And looking up from around the kit, you can see in the clearing that's been made by the furrow, there are just pockets of these mushrooms that are growing, and they seem to be
Um,
swelling.
well, normally I was
I
going
really want to just run over and eat one, like without
then
testing it or
Charles,
whatever.
do
Yeah.
not pull a John Baltusberger. I
Okay.
get in so much trouble. A true story, when I find a mushroom going in my yard, my first instinct is to Google it and see if I can eat it. Um, the answer is usually my wife hits me. Um,
That's a smart wife.
so I don't usually get them down the hatch.
Yeah.
Anyway,
She's the
So-
rolled up newspaper, like, no, John, no, whack, get that out of your mouth.
she has an old coffee can filled with beans that she shakes at me. And the noise scares me.
Stop it.
So as you approach further into this crash site, you can see that the jungle here is brighter and a little bit less dense from some of the other areas. But as you start to filter out the constant din of the rain, you can hear harsh crackling and crashing sounds, as if in the jungle beyond here there are things that might be moving. There's almost like a deep rhythmic sloshing sounds from deeper in the jungle, and maybe like the
feel-
sound of leaves smacking.
Whatever whatever's out there, it's going to be attracted to the crash. We need to get to Shark as quickly as possible and get him out of here.
Can we check the
What?
device to see if Shark is still alive?
Yeah, Snowballs has the device. I left him in charge of that.
All right.
Can I read the device?
So as
Do I have brain?
Normally, no.
as you are watching the personal locator and you look at it, you see that the life sign for Shark is gone. You can see where his signal is. It's on the other side of your ship that crashed, which I forgot to tell you earlier because it has a fantastic name. It's the Odin Hearthbringer.
Ooh.
You can see on the other side of the ship that the large piles of mud that had been torn up by it are also starting to get covered over by that grayish moss. Are you heading over in the direction of the signal? Otherwise, the signals for the other two crewmates are from inside the ship. The front of the ship is just crumpled up like a tin can.
So wait a minute. Did the two inside the ship are those like life signals that we get
No,
from
I
those?
mean like your locator where you like you can
Oh,
tell where they.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, is there any need to check for life, or can we just bail?
It's up to you guys.
No, I'm asking my
Oh.
companions.
So we've made it to the
Yeah,
ship,
asshole.
right? We made it to the
Um,
crash site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we're here, I'm gonna go check inside, have a cigarette, and I'll let you know if they're alive.
Yeah,
Okay.
we might as well
Well,
see if there's anything left.
you better
Like
get that
that.
shit smoked before like a brontosaurus or whatever shows up.
Yeah, you'd smoke a brontosaurus. I don't know what that meant.
So are you
Is
saying
it?
you're
Is it?
looking inside the ship, or are you looking to see where Shark was
I
ejected?
Nah, fuck Shark. He's dead. They're all dead. I think he wants to go inside the ship so he can smoke.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm checking for survivors, whatever that
Yeah.
means.
All right. So when you poke your head in the ship, it's not perfectly dry. There is the dome above you has been shattered, so
Damn it.
water is streaming down in various places. So it's less wet, but it's still damp, and there's still a drizzle.
All right,
Is it enough to smoke? Possibly, if your cigarettes are still dry.
do I have to really roll for that? Really? What do I roll to
Oh
see
no,
if my
I made you
cigarettes are
go through too
dry?
many rolls earlier. I'm not going to do that to you again,
I got a
Stillballs.
58 for dry cigarettes.
Does Ian Servas hate cigarettes? Does
I did not. I didn't even
does
ask
the
for roll. He was
universe
rolling.
hate cigarette? Does Venus 3 hate cigarettes?
I missed.
I will tell you, Gertrude hates cigarettes.
Well, Gertrude is nestled close into your bosom. She's fine.
All
Yeah,
right,
she is.
so in actual back to the game, trying to smoke doesn't work. Cool. Just flips the cigarette away, puts the pack back in his pocket, and do I find the survivors? Do I want to roll, or do you want me to?
Are
So,
there survivors? Yeah.
so when you are go through and you're looking for them, you find Graham and Abbott's all over the place. There's bits of them just kind of plastered on the
This is
various
another fine
surfaces.
mess you've gotten me into.
That you became.
That is fantastic. But you see that some of your gear is still in here, tangled up and kind of strewn around, almost like intestines or various coils of that rope that you had wanted. The extra flare gun in this pack looks like it's been smashed and kind of like it's bounced around the inside of the hole.
What about the
Uh,
flares?
the flares are still good. So there are 4 more flares. 2 of them
I'll
look like
pocket
they've gotten
those. Yeah.
waterlogged, but there are 4
Okay.
good flares.
All right. I'll take.
There's a couple of rations. You see that one of the pack putting out of it.
I probably wouldn't eat that one, actually.
What about Gertrude? Do you think she would?
I have a pocket full of
Rat kibble?
yeah, it's look.
I just love saying blank kibble, like any pet, like iguana kibble. Like it makes me
We
laugh.
actually don't call that. We don't call it kibble in my house.
Oh
We
yeah.
call it stink cereal.
Speaking of stink cereal, if you would,
Fuck you.
Levi, would you go ahead and make me a industrial? Actually, go ahead and make me a mechanical repair check. So
You
that's
got
going to
it.
be as intellect.
Make him a stink check.
And that is a good roll. That's a 9. So I passed that one.
So you've noticed as you're going through and you're looking from the outside of and looking at the inside, you're starting to get equipment. You're getting the extremely intense feeling that this ship was sabotaged. Looking at the damage that was done, like you can see the damage has been done by impact, but there are certain scrapes and types of marks on and various aspects of the ship that looks like it was made to fail.
Made to okay. That's interesting. So like we were shot out of a corporate vessel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck would they want? That's interesting. Okay,
Corporate sabotage. It could be a different company altogether.
Designed
Maybe.
obsolescence. It's just a thing that they do so that they have to buy a new ship.
all new rockets, all new drop pods. Yeah.
As you kind of comb through the wreckage, you find a very suspicious device that looks like a remote that
Okay.
seems to be tied to the damage, perhaps some like a small explosion, or perhaps something about those bolts being coming out in a improper sequence. But it looks like something had triggered this on purpose.
Snowballs. Snowballs. Did you blow up our drop pod?
Look, while it was
Come
a lot of fun on the
on.
way down, I really had a good time. I don't know about you guys, but blowing up a ship that I'm on, not big enough. If I was blowing up our ship, we wouldn't even be looking at body parts right now. This is an
Fair-
amateur's work, not
enough.
mine.
Fair enough. Okay. But it was somebody on board because that
It was
remote
Apple.
is-
This is designed obsolescence.
Well, Apple sounds almost like Abbott, so I think we have our culprit. Case closed.
All right.
You guys see Eugene is kind of at the edge of the ship, the wreck, looking out into the horrible outer world that y'all have crashed on.
Is there a severed arm nearby?
There's bits of an arm.
Because I'd like to sneak up behind Eugene and like dangle it over his shoulder and be like, like I'm putting my arm around him, only it's like a severed arm, just as a funny joke.
If you find the arm, like an arm that's still clutching a rosary, and
Beautiful.
you take the arm, and this is pretty macabre. Like, you take an arm, like you're already unfazed by the fact that you just like pulled the flesh off of a body. Pulling an arm off the ground at this point is normal business to you, and you dangle it across, in front of your friend, who you're rejecting their romantic advances, and you dangle a severed arm. That is a horrifying event. So
first of all,
Eugene-
yes, I'm about to roll stress. However, I will say Eugene has never advanced upon Levi.
No, I'm just having fun, with my bros. That's all.
So that's gonna be, so you're gonna gain a point of stress, and then it's gonna make me a fear check.
Oh, this is why I'm not allowed to work for emergency service.
What's the difference? What is the fear check?
That's one of your 3 saves.
Saves. There it is. Well, that's real bad, actually.
Prank successful.
That's a 66.
All right, great. So you.
I want you to know I was like gearing up to do a real poignant scene pointing at Eugene's like encroaching depression from the rain, and instead we're doing this.
Well, you're not depressed anymore.
All right.
Go ahead, Ian.
So go ahead and make me your panic check.
All right. How do I do that again?
That's D20, and you're rolling over your current stress, which I believe is that 4 or 5 for you now?
It's at 4, unless I got another point from the fear.
No, it'll be 4 then.
Did not pass.
All right.
So actually, all of y'all gained some stress as well.
That is actually.
Nope. Whenever you fail a sanity. Oh no, that was not sanity.
That was sanity. So that. All right. So what did you roll for?
I rolled a 2.
A 2. So you swallow down a budding panic attack, and you just become incredibly anxious, and you gain another point of stress.
I wish I could say I felt bad or guilty about this, but this will have me smiling for days. So
I
thank
slap the hand. I slap the arm out of your hand, and like kind of hiss, "Fuck you, Levi.
But Jay, did you
Fuck
say two?
you."
Did you roll
As
a 2 or
I
3? What did?
2,
Okay, make sure. Okay.
and I just stalk out into the rain.
I'm a prick. Sorry. I'm sorry I'm a prick, but
No, that was funny. It's not the first time I've seen the old hand over the shoulder joke. It's better when you got 3 extras.
So from here, looking at your map, there are different directions that you can go. The nearest landmark that you can see visually from here, beyond just more jungle and river, is a metallic tower that's not on your map. It's kind of hard to make the features out, as the top of it is a little bit shrouded in fog or mist, or maybe it's just more rain clouds. You know that you are still a whiles off from the Sun Dome, and that bunker that you said you wanted to go to, you're going to have to go back the way you came and then further to the north from there. You see, kind of darting through the thick jungle to your southeast, there's a river that meanders through this area.
So you said the nearest landmark is the metal tower?
Yes, to the east northeast from here.
I would say anywhere that we can potentially get out of the rain, although I wouldn't assume
Agree.
that fucking thing had a roof on it. Knowing this planet and corporation and world in general. But I would think that would be a good way to head. What do you guys think?
It makes more sense than going back. the way we came.
Snowballs might finally get that smoke he's been looking for.
Does the ship have an umbrella?
No.
All right.
That's a shittily prepared ship.
Well, you were supposed to have had conveyance to the Sun Dome, and all this that would have been moot.
Just saying,
Yeah, but like, I mean, I carry a little compacty umbrella in like my backpack everywhere just in case.
can I check the door to see if there's like one of those installed, so that if you forget the umbrella, there's just a backup mini one, like luxury cars have. That's too much of a push.
All right. So, what direction will you be heading?
John, what do you think about the tower?
Y'all are going to have to decide alone, because Eugene has walked into the rain.
Wait, just like away from us forever?
Not forever, but he is not with you currently while you were making this plan.
You can track him on the Pit Boy.
Yeah, let's track Eugene down and calm his ass down, and then get to that tower. And by the way, John, I do not mean to invalidate your feelings at all. I'm just invalidating your player character's feelings.
No, I don't take it personally. But you will pay.
Eugene, where did you say you're headed to?
Eugene just walked straight out and into the rain.
He's headed
Can
to-
you give me a cardinal direction?
He's headed to Fuck You City that I believe I am the mayor of currently.
This is designed to be a hex crawl, and we're kind of bending the rules of hex crawling just for sake of time.
How about west?
West. All right. So you don't care where you're headed to, and that is the opposite direction, in essence, of where that tower is. From here, you are going to be going parallel to where that landing pad is and heading through a jungly area.
Mm-hmm.
But perhaps maybe by going through the jungle, maybe you can get a little bit more respite from the rain. As you are alone with your thoughts, just absolutely feel rebuked by your object of affection. You walk completely into this jungle, and after a few steps, you begin to realize that it smells like a combination of rotten eggs and cat piss. And
Ammonia
as you
and
take
sulfur.
exactly as you take stock of where you are, you see that the ground around you is heaving just a bit, like like the ground is almost like it's breathing.
Since
And
I since I have already kind of established that my specialty is exoplanet geology and weather, would I have any kind of inkling what
oh,
sulfur, ammonia, and the heaving ground might
actually,
be?
that's a very good point. Make me that intellect check plus your relevant bonus.
Okay. Do do do. Nah, I didn't. I didn't land that one.
So gain a point of stress, and as you're watching us trying to figure out why you're fixating more on the chemical nature of this and trying to figure out why the ground is seizing, before it dawns on you what's happening is that pockets of gas are being released from far below you, meaning everything is about to cave in. And so it's with that like dawning sense of like just dawning dread that the ground from underneath you sucks under, becoming this the ground just opens up and pulls you in. Make me
Delightful.
a strength check to catch yourself on a nearby tree or get sucked into the
I will
vacuum.
not.
All right. So you suck halfway into your waist. Um, so you are trying to scrabble with one hand to pull, like to grab for this tree. And if you maybe right now grab with both hands, you can get to the tree and try your pulse yourself up. But Gertrude is sucking down in the mud.
I am not. I am not willing to save myself and let Gertrude die. So I'm might be going down with the ship. Don't know yet. I am gonna try to save Gertrude though. That's for darn
So if you
sure.
spend your action saving Gertrude, you can grab Gertrude and fling her to safety outside of the sucking mud, and try to free yourself later.
Okay, that's what I do.
Um, so you grab Gertrude. She shrieks in horror. She's probably trying to say, "Save yourself," but you won't have any of that. So you throw her to safety in a batch of these very soft-looking ferns, and more of that cat piss ammonia smells is like wafting up out of this mud pocket as you're getting sucked in further. Make me a strength check at disadvantage.
Man, so my first roll got it. However, it's
Ah,
a disadvantage, so I failed.
all right. So Gertrude watches in horror as you're up now to your neck in mud. So you're Snowball.
However, Ian, I have a harpoon gun. Does
That
my
is,
harpoon gun have a rope attached to it?
it does.
Is there anything I might harpoon within eyeline? Like,
Trees.
I would like to harpoon a tree instead of making a strength check on my last turn.
All right, that is perfectly fine. I'll
Well
roll you to.
done.
So go
That's a
ahead and make
handy
me a
thing to
combat
have.
check instead.
Okay. Combat. Okay. Can I reroll or do I need to use my last roll?
Well, we're going to be basically mulliganing since you thought of that action. It would have been more
Cool.
logical. So whatever
Okay.
you roll now, we'll take.
I rolled worse. Oh, I wish that very first roll had counted. Yeah, I rolled worse.
All right. So you fire off your harpoon gun, and it makes this very loud, deafening crack because there's a lot of force to expel one of those harpoons because it's meant to
Yeah.
like pull in ships or just disembowel kaiju or whatnot. So Snowball and um, or not Eugene, sorry,
Call me Levi.
Ishmael. Levi, thank you, Levi Simon. You hear the sound of the harpoon gun being fired, and you know that's not going to be fired just nilly-willy. So you know exactly where your friend is, and something horrible is happening.
Well, I grab that rope and I go a running to help.
All right. Meanwhile, since you're already having a pretty nasty day, Eugene, make me a fear check because you're being still sucked down and your one shot to save you has failed.
Hey, how does 99 sound to you?
Oh, all right. So you just gained 2 points of stress anyways from that. Take another 2 points of stress and make your panic check.
How the fuck did you roll a 99, dude?
What's my panic is D20, right?
D20 and over to pass.
I have passed that one.
All right. So you held on to, even though you're absolutely afraid out of your gourd, you have this ray of a hope that you know that Gertrude is safe, and so if nothing else happens, you keep your cool because Gertrude will live on. So you are resolute. So Snowball and Levi, you're able to come up to the scene where you see that there's this sinkhole that sucked in all this vegetation and like some small trees with it, and then just getting ready to like go down below the surface of the mud, you see Eugene, and like Gertrude is like watching in horror as all this is happening.
All right, I'm gonna throw the rope to Eugene, and then I'm gonna haul his ass out. So I guess that's a strength check for me, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what I got going on here. Do 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 do. Da, 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 da. Oh, that's not good, but we'll see. Oh, hey, that's a 9. So I definitely passed that.
All right. So dramatic montage, dramatic music playing as um, exactly you are pulling your friend to safety. It was your horrible prank that put him in this situation, and you uh, have rectified the situation. Um, Snowball, your cigarettes at this point, you might as well just pull a shark.
I pocketed them. They're fine. They're
Okay. They're
they're-
in your so you've got enough battle dress. You should be fine.
yeah. I mean,
just looking for a flavor.
I'm just
I'm
watching.
I'm openly
watching-
weeping, by the way, and referring to Eugene as my Artex, and telling him I'm his Atreyu.
I'm just watching this, be like, wow, I could probably help, but I mean, it's more like emotional if he does this. I mean, clearly this was between
Yeah.
them. I should just let him. I should let him go. Let him do
Just
it.
let this happen.
Yeah.
The constant downpour affects your mental stability, and you are all feeling almost irrationally emotional. That in absence of color and of warmth and things, you are just falling prey to your intense basal emotions. And you've only been here for a couple of hours, and you start to get this dread realization that you're not supposed to be here longer than a week, and who knows if you're gonna how long you're really gonna be here.
I go and pick up Gertrude, comforting her and hugging her.
Gertrude bites you to let you know that was foolish, but thank you.
Fair. I accept. I accept her concern bites.
Yeah. It's always bittersweet with a
Mm.
beloved pet.
So you've been
Speaking
heading.
of, Beans is losing her goddamn mind.
Yeah, apparently.
Sanity checks aren't just for us humans. So as you are kind of taking stock of where you are in on like the map and taking kind of perspective of what you could possibly find, you're noticing that you actually are not too terribly far from a different bunker. That if you were to keep going further, a little bit southwest from here, and you cross a river, there's a bunker.
Awesome. The river's got water in it though, so I don't think we want to take a bath in that. We got a
Uh,
rope. We could probably swing across the
yeah.
again.
Or make like a crude rope bridge, not like the kind that you walk on, but the kind where like it provides a handhold.
Yeah,
So, like
can we reload the harpoon gun? And do we
Oh,
think
that's a
the
good idea.
harpoon would hold our weight?
Yeah. Um, so you're able to get your harpoon gun reloaded, and following, kind of in that direction, you see the trees become thinner on either side of kind of almost looks like a pathway. The upheaval of the ground kind of made a ridge of more firm earth. So you're able to navigate past this. By the time that you leave the sunken crater, the air gets more clear and you no longer smell that kind of fetid stench coming from the earth. It's just being washed away by the rain.
Only the
As
fetid stench coming from snowballs.
exactly. Moving through this jungle, on route for this bunker, the foliage itself seems to turn more and more gray and ashen, and you're starting to get this kind of odd feeling of deja vu, and it's very disorienting. And at first, you'd almost wonder if you are maybe possibly going in circles, but for the roar of a river that you can see just on the outskirts of your vision. Um, you can actually,
Forward slash inspect river.
all right. As you approach the river, the ground like vibrates with that sound of the rushing water, and it almost sounds like water pouring across smooth porcelain. As you investigate and you look at the river, you see that the shortest distance to get to the other side is very rapid water. And on either sides of this kind of bend of the river, it's a little bit more calm. But you're going to have to backtrack if you want to go more towards the calm waters.
The way the rain's affecting us, we would probably be just as shit out of luck if we backtracked because more time to go that way. If we fall in, regardless of how quick the non-calm the water is, we're likely to just go mad and die or what have you.
So, what are you suggesting? What do you want to do?
Cross here. This is worth it.
All right.
Agreed.
Okay.
Plus, I have to dispute that last point. I think that if we fall in, it could mean water slide fun.
All right. So as you approach the river, you can see uh, above, the one of those calm water areas that was just kind of to the north of here. You can see a large fin in the water.
Venus shark.
I don't like that.
All right. So if you want to cross the river, how are you?
Hang on. Before we do,
Okay.
I'm thinking, yeah, I've got like, let me see, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Since I've got 6 shells total and I haven't used any, I'm gonna go ahead and pop off a flare in the hopes that we can see slightly better and gain an advantage as we try to cross.
Okay. So you get that reassuring shunk sound, and when you hear that, Snowball, instantly that kind of inner pyro of you like just kind of gets a little bit of a shiver.
Oh?
And
Yeah.
Levi, you see Snowball look very hungrily at the flare pistol as you fire it off. It makes a loud report, and you hear a hush in the jungles around you for just a second, and that fin that was towards the surface of the water goes under. There's a brief moment of light above you, and all of you just kind of look up at it, almost like mobs staring at a distant lamp. And you have this feeling of warmth and joy for just a second, and then the rain puts it out.
Hey, at least it was a second of joy. It's more than the
Um,
average day offers.
So we lose the stress because of the joy, right?
um, Unfortunately, no. You need to rest in order to
Ah.
get some of your stress back.
As soon as we
Um,
get to the bunker, fellas, we'll sleep
but
it off.
you were able to get a better sight of the river. You see that there are some logs that seem to be jammed in, almost like tree trunks that were below the surface of the water, hard to see against the monochromatic waters, even though it's kind of bordering there between the calmer and more rapid water. And perhaps if you were careful enough, you could use that to aid in part of your crossing.
Let's do it.
Now, if we had, for just kind of sake for people who are curious with the module, some things were being really truncated here for sake of running this for a time. There is a really neat mechanism for actually riding the rapids with kind of like inflatable rafts or other types of things where you actually navigate periods of rapids versus calm water, but we don't have time to really dive deep into those cool mechanics. So just as a little asterisk placeholder.
That is
So
cool.
who's taking point?
I can. I mean, Marine training for doing dangerous stuff seems like a
Sure.
Marine job.
Yeah, do it.
All right. So, is our plan to like shoot a rope across with harpoon gun? Are we assuming that that's already done, or
Yeah, we can shoot a rope across.
Okay. Go
With
ahead and
that
make me
and the logs, that should be like helpful. Yeah.
yeah,
for
go
sure.
ahead and make a combat check to shoot it into a tree trunk on the other side of the river. You do
Okay,
have enough
I failed.
rope. All right. So you can take time and reload that. So as you are taking time, do you want to take time to retract it and reload? Because remember, it's attached to a rope. So
Yeah, I guess yes.
Yeah, let's just do that.
yeah?
okay.
Can we essentially just take 20?
Oh, I was figuring more for time's sake, as far as
Well, no, what
random
I mean by
encounters.
take 20 is just say like the three of us take the time to do this right so that there's no chance of error and we just shoot the rope across.
You could have it at advantage, but the only challenge with that is that it doesn't tie into stress. So, which is a
Okay.
mechanism. So, sure, you could have that at advantage. Take the stress from that one failure, and then you can take more time and get advantage on your next check.
Okay, the advantage, let me get it.
Okay. So you're taking substantial time to be more careful and load it, and you see coming downstream, you see like a lithe figure swimming in the water at a very rapid pace towards you.
No, we don't, because I pop off another flare right at it.
I mean, I also have a grenade that I could drop in the water. We can just go fishing.
Yeah, okay, do that. Yeah.
So you're lobbing a grenade in the direction of the swimming thing.
Yeah, leading the target, compensating for a little bit of sink and water movement. You know, he's
Also
a
keep-
professional.
Also,
Alright.
keep in mind that with the hydrostatic shock, like it will be very difficult for this fucking thing to survive a grenade blast.
Depending on what it is.
So you go ahead and make me a combat check. You notice right before you lob the grenade that you were wrong. It's not just one lithe figure swimming, but two. It has very angular yet aerodynamic form to it. And is totally not human, although it is humanoid in feature. You get an
Em-
impression of chitin and of beady eyes and almost a rictus, very grim confidence to it as it dives in the water.
Them's Venusians.
So,
Yeah.
what did you get on
Um,
your combat check?
3.
Oh,
Wow,
0,
nice.
3.
all right. Um, Fantastic. So that hits. So roll damage. So you are going to be using the which grenade do you have? You've got a concussion grenade. Oh,
Yeah, so that
fantastic.
should, yep. That's gonna really fuck them up.
All right. That is yeah. So there is this extremely loud crump sound that sounds like a peal of thunder but under the water. There's this blast of water that comes out and you see this like bright flash, and uh, you're not sure if they're dead or they're stunned, but two Venusian scouts bob up to the surface of the water,
Yay!
face down in the water, being pulled by the current towards you.
I really hoped that would happen. Like, I was hoping for face up, but I'll take face down.
Just like how they do it in Kentucky.
Yep, yep.
All right. So you were able to secure your line across the river. Those bodies, unconscious or not, are getting closer and closer. One of them, their hand is still wrapped around some type of very odd club of some kind. You're seeing like it drag behind it in the current. As you cross over the river, you see the edge of a bunker jutting out of the ground. At first, you would almost miss it, but with the map, you're able to pinpoint it as it's completely covered in moss. It almost looks like it's being sunken down or being pulled down further into the mud.
Ian,
Yes,
as we are short on
I know.
time, would you mind if I take some narrative control?
Oh, sure.
So we deal with, so we cross the river, re-reel the harpoon. The three of us. Oh, I should ask, Charles, Mr. Paschke, do you mind if I take
See
some?
No,
where this
go for
goes.
it. Go for it. Yeah.
Lovely, wonderful. When we are trudging through this desolate rain towards the edge of this bunker. By the way, my stress is at a 15. Just kind of give you an idea where Eugene is. Eugene is kind of looking at his harpoon launcher thoughtfully, and he pulls Gertrude off him and sets on and hangs back a little from Levi and looks over at Snowball. Snowball, having this is going to increase your chances of getting somewhere dry where Gertrude can be safe. Would you carry this for me?
The harpoon gun?
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you. Just get Gertrude somewhere where she'll be safe. Rats are magnificent. They can survive anywhere. I'm sure there are rats on this planet, and she can find her own, and she can live out the rest of her life well, happily. We're going to die here. He laughs and pats on the shoulder, then catches up, runs up to Levi, and places an arm around his shoulder and says, I want you to know I'm not angry about what you did. And then as he puts his hand around his shoulder, he points the laser pistol at their heads and pulls the trigger.
Delightful. Delightful.
I don't know. And with that image in mind, I'd love to pass it back to Mr. Patchkey for his emotional response to seeing this.
Wandering Monster does not endorse loved one annihilation murders, but in this particular instance, I had it coming.
Also, I felt it was
I'll fess
on.
up to that.
I thought it was in keeping with the story.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, been a space marine for a long time. That's top 3 fucked up shit I think I've ever seen. I don't even know who I'm talking to now. I guess
Gertrude. You're talking to Gertrude.
Yeah, you're talking to
in the final moment here. Would you go to the bunker still with all your compatriots dead?
I mean, what other option do I really have? The bunker's the closest thing. I
Bro,
fucking need a cigarette right now. I just watched two people just like murder, suicide, murder, death, kill.
Yep.
I'm gonna have a rat burger.
Oh no, Gertrude, I love you so much.
That's unfortunate because I was gonna say you now have a new identity as like the tough talking merc with a pet rat and like the tragic story.
I totally expect you to Ronin. Like no, my life is protecting this rat.
So when you go to the bunker and you try the door, it's locked.
That's not a problem for me.
And when you turn around to look upon your dead companions, like getting bleached by the rain, the 2 bodies of the Venusians, they're gone.
The Venusians are gone, or
the Venusians are gone.
Okay, the Venusians are gone. Whatever. I loot the bodies first of all because you gotta loot the bodies.
Sure.
And I will either blow my way in there, or cut my way in there, or machine gun my way in there. How many times do you want me to roll?
And we'll fade there. The futilely banging on the side of a bunker. That
I mean, there's flares. I could probably get them hot enough to cut through something. I had the 1 percussion grenade. That sucks. Got my machine gun. I can shoot the locks off of it like in an action movie. I mean, this is a sci-fi, right? I can sci-fi it open.
This is dark sci-fi, though. You
laser gun. I laser
it off. Debate continues. We fade to black.
All right. I guess we'll go back to this thing then.
Okay, Ian, I apologize for taking the helm there.
No,
but I knew as soon as
you were gonna get he was gonna get his comeuppance, and that was a lot of comeuppance.
As soon as Levi was like, I'm going to prank Eugene, I was like, oh, cool. Eugene should murder suicide them. As soon as you said it, I knew what was going to happen.
My favorite thing was when you said, I put my arm around him. I was like, whose arm?
Well, okay, to be fair, my initial plan was to shoot the harpoon gun into a tree across the river, let the Marine pass, and then shoot Levi as he was crossing, and then dive into the water with him. That was my original plan.
So there's a lot of really fun stuff in this module, and I had a really
despite what I just said.
No. No. I was gonna say, like, and I like the fact that like there's still so much that we did with the minimal amount that we were able to dive into it. I'm really excited to see what come of a full play. Every time you move through a hex, you're rolling like 2 to 4 times on random encounter tables for flavor in an area for what happens. And there's a lot of really cool locations. Since the Kickstarter is still going, I want to spoil it because I changed things so this would be relatively a lot of less spoilers for people who actually want to run this. But there's a lot of really cool stuff.
So the other day, I saw someone, I can't remember who it was. It was a friend of mine on Twitter talking about how they had read Death in Space, and they were like, I think this is a more like successful than Mothership, which was like, but they're completely different games.
They really
Mothership is designed almost specifically for this story. It is a bleak man versus himself and the uncaring universe game, whereas Death in Space is much more black metal. This is Funeral Doom. Mothership's focus on the Mothership feels like Darkest Dungeon, one of my favorite video games, where it's like even when you succeed, your sanity is ticking down minute by minute in a hopeless spiral that feels very cool to play. Big fan, and I was a big fan of this module and this story.
System aside, like the module is very well suited to the system. It is a based on a short story that's all about creeping madness and the slow degradation, like you said, John, the funeral doom degradation of one's sanity. So very cool. I'd also like to point out while I'm bogoting the mic, I am currently wearing tonight my brand new in the mail today our show theme song, our Bog Wizard, the exclusive,
Hell yeah,
the Void Beckons t-shirt, which is hella awesome. So big ups to Harlan and the fellas.
As just one thing, I think you will appreciate, Charles, looking at the nightmare chart and like the hallucination chart. I think you'll just appreciate this one. Walking into the sun dome, you feel alive. The sun's warmth fills the room as you hug your comrades in a hero's welcome. Their embrace tightens. More soldiers, waiters, and caretakers pile on top, smothering you beneath their weight.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so
Nothing
great.
about the hot chocolate, but I know it's in there, squeezed in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I have to say, way back when I was in sales, you may not know this, I wasn't just a cheese guy. I also sold pork, which was very funny then and continues to be now. But the company I worked for was the official sponsor of the U.S. World Cup team, which meant I had to do an event at a World Cup game, which was miserable. It was Ohio and it was cold and the event was miserable. But afterwards, the team owner was like, well, why don't you watch the U.S.-Mexico game from the owner's box in VIP? And the main thing I remember about that was the hot chocolate that they served in the U.S. Soccer Sun Dome. Because it was like gray and raining. And they had this, it was a VIP area, so it was like dry and hot and everything's cheery with like these millionaires and billionaires like drinking their hot cocoa spiked with whiskey. Ho, 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 ho. And my like gutter punk ass, like who like at this point maxed out my credit card to make this business trip. It's like, yeah, stocks, am I right?
Stocks.
The other thing I want to say is go back this because it's great. Obviously we had a blast, and you can play it super silly with like chewing cigarettes and throwing grenades at doors and putting dead man's hands around people, or you can play it super straight and serious, obviously.
And for people like John, there is a table if you eat random things, and no one tried random stuff. We never got to an area where there's random stuff. Like you were getting close with the mushrooms, but there even is a berry and frog table to see like what happens.
Charles, I need you to run this poll on Twitter, but let's do a poll for a special. You know what? I think we already said we're doing what we're doing for the holiday. We're going to do a special recap episode where we're going to kind of talk about the games we played this last year and maybe do like this one was the best for this one was the best for that sort of episode. We're still planning it. After that, let's do a special episode. We'll each come to the plate with something. You don't have to be the one that runs it, but I mean, Ian or I can run it, or Mr. Paschke if you want to. Charles, I know you'd rather play than run. But if you want me to make a game specifically for the fungi of the far realm, fungus book I have where it's just like shroom punk.
You should
I will
probably
do
pitch
that,
that
but
to Melsonia. I've got something I'm
will
thinking
do.
about pitching to Melsonia.
Oh, that's actually a good idea. I could definitely. Okay. Anyway, we will do a Twitter poll sometime soon of like, hey, which of these 3 or 4 games sounds like the most fun for us to do as our first game of 2023.
Mushborg.
Muchborg. All that said, there is one other thing I'd like to announce. Go back this, but while you're on Kickstarter, Simone Temeta and my friend Egg have a Morkborg Oracle deck on Kickstarter where Simone did all the art, and it comes with a zine that is that my friend Zach Goins worked on from World of Game Design, who helped me with my Kickstarters. Like, it's a bunch of powerful players who are friends of the show, friends of ours, doing incredible work. And if you haven't seen Simone's art, it fucking balls. So back that while you're on there. I think like a physical deck is like $30, I think, maybe 33. Anyway, I think that's everything. Go follow us on Twitter because Charles manages that, and he's constantly posting cool articles. He'll respond. He'll respond to you if you have stuff you want us to play or stuff you want us to talk about on the show. Like, hit us up on Twitter, and we will get that because Charles is a beast.
Or email us at wanmonops@gmail.
I totally forgot that existed. You can totally do that too.
In case you're a non-Twitter person, or in case Twitter is not existent when you listen to this, who knows?
Oh, that's going to be there. It ain't going away.
Who
In
knows?
some form or another. But yeah, either way.
So, if you want to find us, go to onemoncast.com. It has all of our socials, all of our stuff. You can find all of everything about us there. Side note, we'll keep you abreast with whatever game projects we have coming up, but both Charles and myself have books coming out in 2023, so you're going to want to keep up with that. That's all I'm suggesting. I think, guys, have we covered it all? I think we've covered it all.
Yeah, cool stuff to be announced for Zine Quest. So hold on to your butts. A lot more cool stuff coming.
It's actually pronounced Quast.
Zine Quast?
It's Zine Quast. Yeah. Friends, thank you so much for joining us on this consensual journey that we call Wandering Monster. I have been John Baldusberger.
I am Charles R. Bernard.
Ian Servas.
Mr. Paschke.
And if you eat my fucking rat, I will come to your house and I will boot you right in the taint until it explodes out of your mouth hole.
Wait, the rat explodes out of your mouth hole?
Hey, leave that to you.